the ultimate ambition of every politician who aspires for public office. They are two different. There's a politician who aspires for public office, and there is a politician who craves for the opportunity to be of public, to serve his people. But for him, he has been governor for 8 years in a mini Nigeria, Lagos State. And he has worked his way gradually, getting to the position, the loftiest position, the highest position of being president of Nigeria, with all the beautiful ideas he has. All we need is to pray along, give the maximum cooperation, and by the grace of God, by the time we are done with the first 4 years, God willing, we'll begin to see the positive, the benefits, the positive results of all these policies putting together, be they in the steel sector, the health, where Professor Part3 and Alausa are overseeing, works in terms of infrastructure, Engineer Dave Umahi is beautifully handling, security, we have President Iman, police affairs, the service chiefs, communication with goes through. All of us, everyone is doing his bit. And I want to use this opportunity to ask Nigerians to give us this chance to showcase all these positive ideas and transform them into visible tangibles that will better the lives of Nigerians, such that after 4 years, Nigerians have the opportunity to look back and see in the place of agriculture what has carried on, what has the president and senator carried on to make agri better, health, how are our lives better, our teaching hospitals, referral centers, how are we doing, infrastructure, where have we transformed the roads from where we met to where we are now. That is my vision for Nigeria, and I would hope and pray that we make a success of these first 4 years. And by the way, that is the report card upon which we hope to seek for a re-election, God willing, when we get there, and we expect Nigerians to compare what we've done and what we've had before.
Action speaks louder than voice. Okay, my almost last question. You know, you're in the steel. How do you intend to inculcate or the artisans, iron traders, you know, which is what you are going to do after this program now? You know, we always have a tax, so we intend to take you to do condemn iron, you know, like they do. So that's what you do after the program. But how have you inculcate them? Is there anything you are doing for the artisan iron traders? Because they contribute as well.
Oh yes, that program you're talking about is specifically targeted at artisans. I hope you know the difference. Those in the institute in Onitsha are not the same people as this. Those ones have a higher requirement intake to get into the institute, and we are training them for something else but in the same field. The difference between those ones and these ones are artisans. Those ones, they are upon graduation. I didn't tell you, you know Innocent?
Yes.
When he manufactures vehicles in Navy. Good. Innocent gets 100%, get his staff 100% from the Metallurgical Training Institute in Onitsha. Yes, he doesn't go anywhere to source for his workers. He just looks for the best graduating students and moves them to Noria, and they continue working. From there, they move on to other things. Those ones in Onitsha are those trained to do underwater welding. They call them spot welding, and very technical jobs along the steel sector, value chain, from top to bottom. Those ones are the ones prepared for that. The ones we are talking about here, artisans, those we will call them roadside welders. But there is nothing like roadside. They are professionals that will with a different skill level. Those are the ones that we want to capture, train them, upskill their skills, so that they do things better. And by the time we are done with the training, maybe some of them are just at the points of entry now. After our 30 days boot camp, they definitely go back better. They are going back to where they are being trained locally. They also definitely they will go with better ideas, and they will also go with better equipment to do the work, like protective glasses, hand gloves, and all those basic things they need to do. I'm sure that you know that the artisans who work by the roadside don't bother too much on the safety and issues like that.
No.
So we are bringing them in to like train them, enhance their skill on their job, then equip them to go and do better out there. But before you go, I reserve this for the last. We have this project also in the ministry, and it's domiciled here. We call it the Vessel to Steel Initiative. We inherited a presidential approval to retrieve abandoned vessels, ships, tankers, and barges that are all littered in Nigeria's territorial waters. I'm sure since you live in Lagos, you see them all over. From all over the territorial waters, be they Ogun, Lagos, Bayelsa, Port Harcourt, they are all there. We have more than 3,000 of such vessels that are unencumbered, meaning that there are no litigation issues, nothing, they're just there. And you don't have to be a scientist to know that when steel or iron stays in water for some time, there's corrosion, and that damages marine life. We have the component that destroys the ecology, and even security implications. You wouldn't know whether there are people in those places unless you go and check them out. And you know that the sea pirates, how do they operate? Some could use them as camps to do all sorts, and even infringe on national security. So we inherited a presidential approval to remove those barges and tankers. But we didn't just stop at removing, using the approval to remove them. Okay, if we remove them, what do? We stayed in-house and developed a project. When we removed them, we are partnering with 4 indigenous steel manufacturing companies. When we remove them, we are working out a ratio of sharing. When we remove them, we break them down, those that you call scrap or condemn iron, you call them. Okay, now it's not going to condemn iron. When we break them down, we use them as feedstock for the steel companies. A part of those broken down ships will go to the steel companies, but a larger part we intend to convert, to make greenhouses. Why greenhouses? We have issues around food security. We believe that you don't have to work in the Ministry of Steel Ministry of Agri before you make contributions towards agri. Basically, we are all into agri. Yes. All of us do one form of agri or the other. So we took this initiative to retrieve those abandoned vessels, work with 4 of our partners, convert a large portion of broken down ships and vessels into making greenhouses. And there are going to be special greenhouses. We have a proposal from one of them, one of the sea companies, which wants to manufacture a greenhouse that will serve as a one-stop shop, in the sense that the greenhouse comes with its source of power, which is a solar panel made from broken down glasses and pieces of the metal, all put together. It comes with a solar panel which serves as a source of power, and it also comes with a refrigeration component, meaning that if you are growing vegetables which are perishables, you start from growing to storage. If you so that it cuts down wastages, you store them within the same place and you sell them. So it's a one-stop shop. And we intend to deploy them to clusters around city centers. Why? Because of the same reasons you asked before. We have issues with traditional farming around kidnapping, banditry, and stuff like that. So many people are not going to the farms for fear of being abducted. So we intend to locate them around city centers. For instance, if we want to place them in Abuja, we will look for somewhere between Abuja and Agwagwalada, so that we locate them around there. And it is conceived in such a manner that young people again can take advantage of those things. We intend to roll them out like this. If we get the approval, we take it to the next level. We are starting with a pilot of 100,000 across the country, concentrating on growing all sorts. Virtually everything can be grown to a controlled atmospheres now, from cash crops to ornamental flowers for export. And when we finish everything and the approval comes out, we take inventory of people who are interested, whether you're young or old. You want to go into greenhouse farming, we provide the infrastructure and arrange with the Bank of Industry to come in for the financials. We are using this opportunity now to call on well-meaning Nigerians, corporate organizations to key into this lofty project. Yeah, we all can make a difference if we work together. Tony Elumelu Foundation, Dangote Foundation, all of this. Let's come together and partner. Everyone has a role to play. If we get the kind of funding we are looking for, we can replicate it. Like I said, the pilot is 100,000. If it comes out successfully like we plan to do, we replicate it all over again. And you agree with me that by the time we do all of this successfully, the first stream, second, third, we would have taken off 200, 300 people off the job market. We can produce food for consumption, sell, and earn a living. That is where we are. And I saved that for send-off. So
that's fantastic.
Yes, you help us pray along that everything we plan to do, we get the opportunity to do that. Oh yes. That is our direct contribution to food security from the Ministry of Steel Development. The difference in leadership across the world boils down to the quality of thinking you have. You can do everything if you are prepared for the job. So that is why we are concentrating. No one person does it alone. We are a team, we are working together, and I tap from what you know and develop a little idea out of my own, then bring it together. Then we go out there and make a difference.
What are your core values? What do you value most in life?
For me, first and foremost, is my relationship with God. Because ultimately, no matter how long you stay here, you'll eventually move there and give account to your Creator. So the most important for me is my relationship with God. So we'll say spiritual positioning. Then of course, family. Family, from the African perspective, not like you, your wife, and your children. Family, the extended family we all are used to in Africa. Work, I have a strong work ethic. I have aversion to doing things
Properly.
I sometimes get accused of going overboard. Stickler for perfection. Perfection is an attribute of God. The standard for myself is the same I set for people I work with. And I'm sure they know. Spirituality, family, work, I've had opportunities, and I'm grateful to those who gave me the chance to get to where I am. I started simply like the regular village person, I went to school like you did, started out as a lawyer, somewhere got entrapped in politics. I thought it was something I was just going to do for a while and get back to my regular beat. Then I've been stuck somehow. I only tried to become chairman of my local government. Won the primaries, but somewhere, somehow, someone said I didn't. And it wasn't the turn of our people to be chairman. But God works in wonderful ways. I was just told to be patient. They knew I wanted to be patient, no problem. I said, okay, fine, I waited. 3 months later, I was appointed the Pioneer Commissioner for Local Government and Chieftaincy Affairs. And you know, local government chairman report directly to the Commissioner for Local Government and Chieftaincy. So from wanting to be chairman of local government, I ended up being commissioner in charge of local governments, and I oversaw all the chairmen, including the one that was replaced, that took my place to become chairman of local government. As if that was not enough. Destiny, luck, and the grace of God. Someone was a deputy governor. Of course, like, you know, all governors have deputies.
Yes.
Then he decided he wanted to contest for Senate. So he had to leave his position so as to contest for it. And he left. So they needed someone to replace him. And it happened that we come from the same zone, senatorial zone. So I was already in, I was commissioner. So instead of going out to go shop for a new person to be deputy governor, so I just migrated from being commissioner for local government to the candidate for deputy governor to run on the same ticket with the governor, Reverend Jolingham, His Excellency, Reverend Jolingham. So you see how God works. In under 1 year, I moved from being candidate for local government who was denied to being deputy governor of Taraba State. All thanks to God Almighty and my principal, His Excellency Governor Jolingham. From then on, that was like my launch pad. From then on, it has been from this to that, which got me here, courtesy of His Excellency Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR. And thank God for His mercies.
Okay, it's still true Nigerians, heroes of our time. We have really been educated talking with His Excellency, the Honorable Minister of State for Steel Development, in the person of Uba Maigari Ahmed. You see, Nigeria can only move forward, like we've always campaigned in this program, when you put the right people in the right place. So we are making progress. I am encouraged to be a Nigerian, having had this conversation with the Honorable Minister. Okay, I know you are all wondering what will be his tax on true Nigerians, heroes of our time, but because he's the Shugaba, like the head of all the condemned iron people. You know, remember when we had the IG of police, he had to go and do the traffic police because he's the head of all of them. Yeah. So today we take the Honorable Minister to the street and give him one old sack and 2 irons so that he can knack and do condemned iron as his tax on true Nigerians, heroes of our time. I'm laughing because I didn't tell him this, but let's hope we can get him to do it. It's true Nigerians, heroes of our time. If you are ready, let's go there. Wannan za ka kaɗa ne. Condemn iron. Za ka rike buhu.
Metal scrap collection.
To wannan grammar ne ba za su gane ba.
Shi abin da muke ciki kenan yanzu.
We have the Honorable Minister of State for Steel Development, Uba Maigari Ahmed. Today his tax on true Nigerians is that he's going to do the, you know, the artisan iron traders, condemned iron and so on and so forth. So, congratulations, sir. Iron condemn. Okay, sir. Continue. You are supposed to do it to that shop.
I know, I can't go this far.
Iron condemn.
Well done.
You are not doing condemn iron.
Okay. Iron condemn.
Yes, condemn iron.
Condemn iron.
Condemn iron.
Condemn iron. Ordinarily, we see young people going around town with their bags and metals like this,
Okay.
collecting metal scrap.
Okay.
But usually, in the course of picking what is supposed to be condemned iron, like they call it, some of them, not all, veer off and go into removing vital infrastructure components like road railings, manhole covers, which are made of metal generally, and causing havoc, destruction of infrastructure, and getting people wounded in the process. While we appreciate the fact that young people have the right to go after earning their livelihood, but as a ministry, we are trying to regulate the trade. And like I told you earlier, the National Assembly graciously acceded to our demand in this year's budget to construct 6 steel or scrap metal collation centers in the 6 geopolitical zones of the country. What do we intend to do? When we get the collation centers built, we intend to regularize the trade in the sense that you don't just pick iron or condemned metal anyhow or from anywhere. Your sources must be defined, and we intend to have a central collation center where the artisans or traders in the metal scrap will be registered and dealt with as legitimate businessmen, traders who bring in their wares, and it is weighed and paid. Then you have a register of those who trade, and in the process eliminate criminals who go into destruction of vital structures and infrastructure in the name of condemned iron trading. This is one way we are going to impact positively
and create employment.
Yes, and like upscale the trade instead of just allowing
because
them
most of the side
the
irons on the roadsides are stolen. The ones on the bridge are stolen.
Those are bridge railings. And all those things. We intend to upscale. Yes. We intend railway sleepers and all those. We intend to upscale the trade in such a manner that they will be earning a decent living. They wouldn't even be looked as thieves, like most people rightly or wrongly think if they see them. So that is the much we are doing in the direction of condemned iron traders.
Okay, you heard it from the horse's mouth. We have been talking to the Honorable Minister of State for Steel Development,
you got it right,
Uba Maigari Ahmed. Thank you very much, sir, for your contribution to the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
It's a pleasure.
God bless you.
And we'll wait to see you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
One more time.
Long live the Federal Republic of Nigeria, and bye.
This country needs unity. We need peace.
I'm all for renegotiating the terms of our coexistence. We have to renegotiate it.
The youth have been misguided, unfortunately. You know,
I like my country. I like the land and people.
Hey, look, I have 40% shares in this company. So if I had known that you
judges are either corrupted or they are afraid of giving judgment.
There's no stopping us.
No stopping.
But government requires more revenue to make sure that these initiatives
give us a better Nigeria. Give us a better.
Youth are the vehicles of change. The youth are the answer.